What is good, YouTube? What is good, PlayStation Nation? It is your boy Persona of Gaming with Persona, host of When Persona Speaks, host of When Persona Interviews, and one half of the host of What's Up PlayStation Podcast every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Except for this Saturday, because, we're going to get into that. But, listen, man. Can I rant for a second, guys? Yo, I'm going to shout out everybody in the chat, I promise. Shout out to everybody that's here right now. Can I rant for a second? You might be wondering, Persona, you sound a little bit different. You sound a little bit, you're not sounding like, what's going on, Persona? Yo, man, listen, I can't use the soundboard today, guys. Well, I can use my Stream Deck soundboard, but I can't use the Go XLR soundboard because for some reason, this piece of junk, this piece of shit won't, it stopped working. Everything else works. So I'm using my Focusrite and the Cloud Lifter setup. I had to switch back to that because, can you guys hear me? I want to make sure everybody can hear me. Yo, type a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear me. Let me make sure I'm not talking to myself for a second here. Okay, I just heard it. Okay. Where like it just like it stopped working, bruh. This shit's crazy, man. Yo, I don't touch this equipment. I leave everything plugged in. I don't be changing shit. I don't be touching shit. I'm so sorry, but this audio, all this audio, this PC shit garbage. I'm sorry. And I work with PCs all day. You understand? I work with PCs all goddamn day. But this right here, well, I work with Macs. I'm a Mac guy. This shit here, garbage. I'm sorry. All this setting up audio equipment and all this other stuff, all for the shit not to for just one day kaput not work. So now, I got home and I'm trying to set this thing up and figure out what's going on. I'm looking at YouTube videos. I'm restarting everything. I uninstalled OBS. I uninstalled Streamlabs OBS. I tried to set this shit up in regular OBS, not working. Everything works but the mic. And I'm talking through my Shure mic right now through the Focusrite and everything works perfectly fine. Shit garbage, bruh. Shit garbage. It's garbage. It's garbage. I don't care what nobody says. It's garbage. You feel me? Okay, rant over. Yo, PlayStation Nation, how y'all feeling today, man? Shout out to the PlayStation Nation, man, the best nation on the planet. You guys already know. Where is the claps? See, if this was the goddamn Go XLR, everything would play. Hold on, let me set the sound. Okay, there we go. Let me get the claps. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes. Okay, so shout out to everybody here, man. I appreciate all of you. Yo, Pug channel in the building. Pug, what's good? What's good? Yo, Games for Eternity. What's going on with you, boy? Yo, Daryl Nellums, what's good, man? Appreciate you, bro. Logical in the building. Eastern Conference, how you feeling today, man? I'm feeling good, man. Yo, King Queso in the building. How you feeling today, big homie? Yo, Philip K, how you feeling, man? Yo, you went off on David on 6 plus 5. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. Yo, True Virgin in the building. He said, no soundboard? I'm out. Yo, shout out to you, True Virgil. Yo, so sorry, Lorenzo, what's good, man? Appreciate it. Yo, A1 PlayStation Pegasus, what's going on with you? Requiem of Demons, probably one of the best names on YouTube. Yo, Requiem, what's going on with you, bro? Appreciate you. Yo, Nelson Gaming, how you feeling today, man? Yo, Omar in the building. Omar, what's going on with you? Lee Mister, what's going on with you? That's that PC Life garbage. I said it. Pug, I said what's up to you. Yo, Immortal Black, what's good, man? Game Persona, why there's a countdown to your live stream? Cause what? What? Yo, Immortal Black, how long you been watching my channel? You've been watching my channel for a while and you just now asking that question? Why wouldn't there be a countdown? Give people time to get in here, I'm still setting things up on the back end and getting ready and want to make sure that the stream between Streamlabs and YouTube is super, it's a good connection and ain't no messing up or nothing like that. It's a multitude of reasons why there's a countdown. Immortal, you've been here for long enough to know What's going on? Why are you asking that question? I know they say there's no such thing as a stupid question, but Immortal, come on. Come on now.
Stop it. Get some help.
Get some help. Get some help, Immortal. You know the drill. Yo, Quanvo, what's good with you, man? Appreciate you. Who else, man? Yo, Link, what's good, brother? How you feeling today, man? Yo, Viper Reap in the building. Appreciate you. Mr. Go Try Hard Guy Uchiha. He said, hey, Persona, why you just... Yo, it must have been a lot of y'all watching 6 podcasts. Was it yesterday or the day before? Yeah, I'll touch on that in a second. Yo, El Matador in the building. El Matador. Appreciate you, bruh. Yo, Slink, how you feeling today, man? Yo, Brigadier Williams, Will the Beast in the building. Man, try to say that 5 times fast. Brigadier Williams, Will the Beast. I bet you can't say it 5 times. Try to say it 5 times fast, chat. Try to say it 5 times. You ain't gonna be able to say it 5 times fast. I ain't even gonna front. I can't even say it 5 times fast. Shit, I ain't gonna front on that. Who else is here, man? Yo, Omar, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you always. Yo, Philip, Sin22 in the building. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to the early birds, man. Shiri, Omar and Pug channel. Those were the early birds that were out here. Yo, Demolis guy, what's good, man? J Gamer UK, what's good with you, bro? C Fresh, what's good? G Junior in the building. Jeremy Shiner in the building. Salazar Naruto 52. What's going on with you, bro? Notorious Dre in the building. Oh, hold on now. Shout out to Notorious Dre, man. Appreciate you coming through, bro. Yo, Fabian Vargas, what's going on? Steady Flow, Star Guardian 88. What's going on with you? What's going on? Franco Tech in the building. Support Gaming in the building. Guapzilla in the building. Pepe Instigator 69 in the building. We got some heavy hitters in here today, man. I appreciate all of you guys, man. Round of applause for the people in the chats. I said, round of applause for the people in the chat. Yo, I ain't got the soundboard, man. Like, yo, my Go XLR all fucked up. So I can't do the I'm a PlayStation fan too or nothing. I'm a PlayStation fan too. I can't do it. This, you know what's so messed up? This show would have been good for that. Like, I'm a PlayStation fan too. This is great for gamers, all that stuff. I'm gonna like really like do some research. And you know what's so crazy too? Come on like Go XLR's website. Yo, why do these yo, real quick. Yo, Stardust, what's good, man? Yo, Caleb, Kaiser, what's good with you, bro? Yo, why do these websites be wanting you to, like, sign into their, like, create an account with them and all this bullshit just to receive support and yo, I'm sitting like, bro, what the hell? Like, what is this, bro? Like, yo, some of these companies are crazy, bro. They be wanting you to, like, sign in and create this and create that. Yo, bro, I bought your shit. That should be enough. Why I gotta sign in and do all this crazy stuff? It's crazy, man. Listen. I'm not in a good mood with this Go XLR shit right now. I'm not in a good mood. But we gonna push through it. Kelvin, what's good, man? Eon, what's good, man? Another round of applause for the folks in the chat, man. All right, so real quick, all right, let me address the whole 6 pot. Yo, shout out to Sick Human TV too, by the way, man. That's my boy. Let me address that whole David situation for those that was watching that show. Listen, This kind of went back to the previous show that Sick was doing, where, you know, he was talking about gaming and all this other stuff, but, you know, he didn't play no games, he didn't have a console and all this other stuff. And so I asked the question that time where I'm like, if you're not playing games or if you don't got no console or anything like that, why would anybody in the chat want to hear what you have to say? And I wasn't asking that to be rude or disrespectful. I was really legit asking that to really understand what is his thought process for trying to give his opinion on things when it comes to gaming, and you have not touched or played any of those games. You are the epitome of what is wrong with this gaming community. You're in a podcast all the time, you show up, but you're not playing none of these games. You're not playing none of that, but you show up, you talk about how bad Xbox is, how bad this is, how bad that is, and I'm just sitting there. So like, I was at work and I was listening to Sick show, and you know, it was just Sick and David, and so I'm listening to the show, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, bro, why is this, like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, he turned down a free PlayStation and games because Barry was going to send him, because Barry was going to send him his PlayStation 4 Pro, and I was going to send him like 10 games. Like, hey, bro, I got mad like physical copies of games. You get what I'm saying? So I was gonna send him that, and we good. He said, nah, I don't want that. I want a PS5 and all. So I'm like, bro, my man's you. Someone is about to give you something for free, and you turning it down. What the hell's wrong? Like, do you care about? Do you really want to play games? So when I jumped into the show, I'm sitting there and I'm like, bro, my whole thing is, yo, bro, you a young dude, right? Very, very young, and you constantly getting on these shows and you trying to give your opinion. And I keep asking that question because I really want him to answer it truthfully, because we all know why. But I'm sitting there like, bro, why do you keep thinking people want to hear what you have to say when you're not playing no games? Like, you're not playing games, bro. That's the biggest problem here. But you keep showing up to the show, and I'm like, bro, you told us about your situation and things like that. I understand we all fall on hard times, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, listen, bro, all right, you fell on hard times. You got a lot of stuff going on, or whatever case may be. You need to be in these streets, like in real life. You need to be in these streets making moves, bro. You need to be in these streets, really getting your shit together, getting your shit right. That realistically, like real life stuff. Never mind the podcast, never mind gaming. I was telling him that not to be funny or not to be rude or disrespectful, because I would never, I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful to anybody, right? I was saying that because I'm like, listen, bro, I get you want to talk about gaming, I get you like being on Sick Show or whatever, but you have to understand that your opinion does not matter here. When people hear you talk in the chat, they don't care because you're not playing games. So you have to remedy it. You have to remedy that. How do you do that? Get in these streets and make moves, bro. Get in these streets and get shit right. In real life, get shit right. You young, you still got a lot of life ahead of you. Get in these streets and get shit right. That's part of the problem with some of these cats out here, bro. Your priorities is out of whack. And I was saying, that's why I was saying, yo, look, I love gaming as much as anybody, bro. Like I'll play games. My idea of a good night is playing games and going to sleep, whatever. But my priorities is on point. My shit is on point. I ain't living with nobody, man. I got my own. Like, my priorities is straight in terms of real life. From what you've said, it ain't, because of the situation. Go make moves in the streets. That's all I was trying to say. I would listen. If the man want to keep showing up to Sick podcasts and talking about gaming but not playing games and all that, so be it. But my thing is, again, my thing is always going to be, why do anybody want to hear what you have to say? Why does anybody in this chat want to hear what you have to say? Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. No one. Because you're not playing no games. So that's why I jumped in and I said what I said. 'Cause I got tired of hearing this fucking guy talk. I'm working and I'm listening to Sick podcasts, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, yo, what the hell? Like, dude, you keep talking about how shitty Xbox is and all this stupid stuff. And it's like, bro, you're not even playing that. You're not playing none of this stuff, bro. You're not playing no games anywhere. You're just running around talking about how shitty Xbox is. Like, who the fuck wants to hear that, bro? No one wants to hear that. Yo, Ice Cream, what's good? Caution, what's good? Trey, what's good? Yo, you're Sick, what's good, bro? Appreciate you, man. That's my whole thing, right? Ain't nobody, that's my whole thing. Either he takes the advice or he doesn't. At the end of the day, I'm good. You good. We all good. So if you want to keep doing that, so be it. So be it. The man's 17. The boy's 17. I mean, I was working. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. That's not my place. So that's that, right? But let's get into the show, guys. Let's get into the show. So, yo, listen, man. I'm sorry that this, like I said, I'm sorry that the show, I had a whole plan yesterday where I was gonna do a show, then stream some Tribes of Midgar yesterday, but my whole audio stuff was messing up, so I was like, fuck it. I still played I played Tribes for maybe 4 or 5 hours last night, man. Like, that game is really, really dope, really good. I'm gonna talk about that on another stream. But yo, listen, man, let's get into the show today, man. So a couple things we gonna talk about today. You feel me? Because I mean, listen, guys, your boy Persona. What do I say to you guys? I always say this. What do I always say to y'all? I always say, yo, look. I say what I say because I truly do care about gaming as a whole. And I'm looking at things, when I look at certain things within this industry and how certain things are going, I'm looking at it from a place of, look, if I'm that gamer, like, I come from not necessarily the dinosaur ages of gaming, because the dinosaur age is fucking, ColecoVision and Atari. I started at Super Nintendo, right? When it comes to my gaming, and where I started, where I got my beginnings. But at the same time, being around in that old school era of gaming and growing up with gaming in my life, maybe about 90% of 90% of the time of my life, right? Looking at how gaming has progressed and how gaming has grown and how much gaming has changed throughout the generations, right? When I look at gaming now, I'm looking at it from a place of, me as an adult, because, when you're a kid playing games and when you're an adult playing games, it's definitely how you perceive gaming is a bit different, right? Because you're an adult now, you got more responsibilities, I got a wife and kid, respect my time. I really wish I had my fucking sound. I hate that I don't have my sounds, man. It really annoys me. But, respect my time. I got a wife and kids, all that good stuff, right? And so when it comes to how, a lot of us approach gaming now, it's definitely, I think some of us are still, looking at that more nostalgic, but I think also now we're looking at it from a more, still the gamer in games and, which is always going to be what's most important, but I also think is how we consume games, right? We're looking at how we consume games now, but also the cost of gaming. Because again, as a kid, you're not buying video games. As a kid, your mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, they're buying the games, right? So you're not really looking at it from that perspective. But again, as you age, as you get older, as you grow up, right? We start looking at the price. We start looking at, value, worth, all these things start to come up as an adult, as they should, right? Because again, we're adults now, we got bills, we got, responsibilities, families, kids, all that good stuff, right? So it's only natural that those type of things come up, right? But one of the things that I have always said, and I've always remained adamant to this, and listen, let me put the disclaimer out there now, because I know someone's going to watch this show later. Oh, well, Persona, they're going to be in the chat like, well, Persona, this is my thing, right? I don't really like how, you're talking about how Game Pass is this and services are that bad, and I can't even do the Mr. Game Politics. I miss my Go XLR so bad. Well, I don't know, why you keep talking about those things, Persona, because, well, the Game Pass and services are, that's the future, Persona, you're going to get those, right? And so let me put the disclaimer out there now. If you, as a gamer, think that service-based gaming is your future, and if you, as a gamer, think, Game Pass and if you think that's how you want to ultimately, and I'm not saying using it as a secondary or even a third option, I'm speaking specifically about, your main way of consuming games. Again, how we see some of these people in this community act now, where it's like they won't support a game if it's not in Game Pass, right? Those type of things. Like if you're one of those, listen, more power to you. More power to you, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and explain to you why I disagree, because we've had that conversation. But what I do want to talk about is some of the comments that Shawn Layden, Shawn Layden did an interview or an article was released by Game Industry recently where, they were talking about a bunch of different things of what Shawn Layden has said about the gaming community, well, not the community, excuse me, industry, development, indies, AAAs, pricing, things of that nature, right? So I kind of want to dissect some of that stuff and kind of give my thoughts on that. We'll also talk about PlayStation selling 10 million and all. We'll talk about all that as well. But the bulk of what I want to talk about is definitely within that Shawn Layden's that article about Shawn Layden and what he was saying, right? Because realistically speaking, there's a lot of value in what he's saying, and not even just the whole, like, the sustainability of like service-based games when it comes to, games being costing more to make, and putting, we'll save that for a little bit later in the show. We'll definitely talk about that, but I really want to like focus on just a lot of it, because he makes some interesting points about like he makes interesting points kind of about like the gaming as a whole, how gaming has grown, how the industry has grown, how the industry has moved into a different direction, right? I am all over the place right now. Okay, there we go. I forgot to add the fucking audio source into my display. Anyway, okay. So, one of the first things that I kind of want to touch on right here is the elusive, the number of who owns. We're just getting people. Okay, so here we go. So the article kind of starts now. I don't believe Shawn Layden grabbed headlines for calling out the spiraling cost of game development. I don't believe this right here isn't the Shawn Layden quote. This is the Shawn Layden quote, but I kind of want to like read off the entirety of the thing because it's kind of interesting, right? So it says, although much was made of his suggestion that games should be smaller or more expensive, his concerns are rooted in the reality that for all the revenue growth seen in the console space, audience growth remains elusive. The number of people who own consoles today is broadly the same as it was in the late 90s, around 240 to 260 million people, right? And then so Shawn Layden, he says, we're just getting people in the gaming world to spend more money, which is pretty interesting because, like, when you really like kind of take a step back and look at gaming right now, when you look at PlayStation 2, right? Because a lot of people like to compare the sales of different consoles to the PlayStation 2, because PlayStation 2 really is king when it comes to the console sales, right? Because nothing has beaten that yet, right? 152 or 155 million, but then you look at, PlayStation 3, which did, I think, about 95 million. Somebody correct me in the chat. Let me pop out the chat. What am I doing? Let me pop out the chat so we can have this conversation. I'm gonna see what y'all talking about while we talk, right? But when you look at, there we go. So, but when you look at, the PlayStation 4 is now at like what, 115, 116 million, right? Nothing has gotten to that PlayStation 2 number, right? Now, I still think people are most definitely buying in consoles and buying games and things of that nature. But when you look at the number from PS3 to PS4, the number has grown. But again, PS4 still couldn't get to that 152 million, right? But when you look at history, when you look at the records, when you look at the numbers in the sales, there are people buying PlayStations at a large number and a large rate. And same thing with the Switch, right? Like, Switch is dominating on the field. The Switch, Demolished Guy, what's good, man? So I miss Sean Persona. Yeah, man, Shawn Layden's a good guy. I hope I can get him on the show one day for an interview. I would love to talk to him. But when you look at like Switch numbers and you look at PlayStation numbers, I'm willing to argue that a bulk of these people, right, are on either like the bulk of this 240 or 260 million people are on either a Switch or a PlayStation. Yeah, you got Xbox kind of floating around in there as well, but just look at the numbers. Look at, like, the numbers don't lie. Like, we're not gonna sit here and just pretend like, the numbers do not lie, right? A bulk of the people within that number, 260, let's round that out to 300 million just to kind of play with numbers a bit, right? Majority of that is Nintendo and PlayStation. Listen, I don't make the rules. You get what I'm saying? But we gonna talk. So I do think that when it comes to that number, it's hard to. It's weird too because it's hard to say. Cause I think a lot of people growing up might have grown out of gaming. You get more people into gaming because the number has definitely grown from back when we were younger to now, right? There definitely wasn't 260 million people playing games back in the 90s, hell no. Hell no. Gaming was nowhere near as mainstream as it is now. So, it's as gaming becomes more mainstream, and as gaming, kind of gets to the forefront of pretty much all of entertainment, or a good portion of entertainment, right? You're going to start getting a lot more people. So I personally think that 260 million people number, I think that's going to grow. And, I think this is consoles. Yeah, this is consoles. So that 260, I can see that growing to about 350 million people, personally speaking. But, when Shawn Layden says that we're getting people to spend more money, I mean, when you really think about it, because a lot of us, when you look back to like the price of games back in the day, games was what, $90, $100 for certain games in certain territories, 70, 80 or whatever. Now there's more of a standardized, like, I think now when it comes to gaming, there's more of a standardized price, right? Because when you look at the PlayStation 2 generation, games were $50. They were $49.99. Then when things creeped into the PlayStation 3 generation, it got that $10 increase of $59.99, right? Then, PS4, it stayed the same, $59.99. Then you look at PlayStation 5 and Generation 9, games are now $69.99. I'm talking base, right? But where we're seeing more of the money, because, there's been a ton of articles that have come out in the past where, a lot of devs or publishers or companies would say that, a bulk of the money that's made is from microtransactions. And I think one of the, Daniel, what's good, man? I think one of the best examples of this is Fortnite, right? Fortnite is a free-to-play game, right? It's a free-to-play game. When Fortnite first came out, Epic was worth about 800 million, right? Fast forward 2 years down the line, I think two or 3 years down the line, now Epic is valued at about $20 billion. They're raking in money like crazy. They're doing crazy deals with Marvel, NFL. They just did the whole LeBron James Space Jam thing. Like, when you look at gaming as a whole, and especially again looking at Epic, right? Where's that money? Where's that value coming from? Where is that money being pulled from? That's kids and people spending money within the game. It's the microtransactions, it's the costumes, it's all that different stuff. So, I definitely get what Shawn Layden is saying when he's saying that, within the gaming world, people are spending more money because, even when you look at games themselves, because a lot of AAA games do this, you'll have the standard edition, you'll have the gold edition, like let's use Ubisoft terms, right? It'll be the standard edition for Ubisoft, which would be the 70. The gold edition, that'll be 80 or if they really, about 80 or so. And then it'll be the ultimate, or 90. Actually, shit, that should be 80. Yeah, it'll be $90. So Ubisoft is crazy because if I look at Far Cry is 70 for the standard. The gold edition, or however they want to call it, is 90. And then the ultimate edition is 120, right? So, when you look at things like that, obviously the ultimate edition comes with, season pass and all these different things. And one thing I will say about Ubisoft, I know a lot of people hate Ubisoft or dislike Ubisoft. One thing I'll say about Ubisoft, they do put content in their games. Like when it comes to like season pass content, how sometimes, some of these games, they'll do like season pass content and it really ain't much, or really you look at it like, this could have been just stuff you put in the game. When it look with Ubisoft, especially when you look at like Assassin's Creed and all that stuff, they really do like build out that content when they do like season pass content for these games. They really do build that stuff out. Like it really is grand, and that's one thing I'll give Ubisoft though. Like if you would like to spend $120 on like Assassin's Creed or spend like $120 on Far Cry, you get like you getting your money's worth. You really are, especially with the season pass content and stuff like that. You getting your money's worth, 100%, right? So, I think that's how things have changed when it comes to the industry trying to adapt to the changing climate and environment, right? How many articles or how many stories have we seen of like, people spending 10 grand, 5 grand, 3 grand, 2 grand, however much money on like, loot boxes and microtransactions and all these different things. That's where a bulk of the money is also coming from, right? I would even argue that for a lot of these games that do have those types of elements in the game, they actually make more money off of the microtransactions than the sale of the game itself, right? So if 5 million people buy the game, you know, they make what? You know, maybe like 80 million, 150 million, something like that, whatever. But then, you know, the microtransactions, you know, can be upwards of in the billions, depending on the game and depending on what, you know, what's being offered or what's there, right? So I think the industry adapting to the changing inflation environment, things like that, you know, Shawn Layden is definitely right about that. I agree 100%. Yo, Damien, what's good, man? Appreciate you. So then, you know, he continues with like, you know, with each console generation, the cost of games go up by up to ×2. So PlayStation 4 games were $100 or $100. The cost of making games. This is the cost of making games, guys. So keep that in mind. So with each console generation, the cost of games goes up ×2. So PlayStation 4 games were 100 to 150 million. So it stands to reason that PS5 games, when they hit their stride, will be in excess of 200 million. It's going to be very difficult for more than a handful of large players to compete in that space. Guys, now let's put the disclaimer out there for a second, right? Games don't, obviously every single game that's dropping doesn't cost 200 million or even 100 million, even 150 million, right? Every game's not that at that price, right? So we'll put the disclaimer out there on that, right? Every game isn't at that price, but we know the ones that are there, right? How much? I remember, what article was that? What PlayStation game was that? I don't want to say it was Last of Us. I'm willing to bet that Last of Us 2 cost 200 million to make. Spider-Man, 150 mil, right? I'm willing to bet a lot of the big blockbusters, the big titles, the big titles, right? I'm willing to bet those were in the PlayStation 4 generation were definitely creeping in those 200 mil range, right? Now, you know, 100 mil, 150 mil, but you know, I also think when it comes to like the price of what it costs to make games, this is why, you know, we had that conversation before, if you remember, guys, where we were talking about, you know, price of games, right? Because, you know, a lot of people are very against paying more for games. Well, not a lot, but I mean, because the sales are still there. Like, people are still, I mean, we just seen the sales today for Spider-Man and Ratchet and you know, the PS5. Like, people are definitely buying these games and buying the software and the consoles, right? But, you know, there is a demographic of people who are very against that price increase of $70 games, right? And this is, and it's funny because I always go back to, people want games to be bigger. People want games to be more grand. People want games to offer more, right? This, like a lot of people have like this checklist of, yo, Iron Panther, what's good, bro? T-Man, what's going on, man? A lot of people have like this checklist of what the perfect game is that they're willing to buy, right? And if a game doesn't check, if it misses even one box, they won't buy the game. Right? People expect, you know, a lot of people expect these games to be so grand, right? But no one wants to put up the money for that. Who's footing the bill? It's just like when I was talking about, it's funny, you know, because with the whole Game Pass thing, right? One of the things I was talking about way back when was, you know, because the Bethesda deal, that's great. You know, that's cool. You know, they got that or whatever. And, you know, he mentions that in a bit too. We'll talk about that. You know, Microsoft has that. They're exclusive. They're doing what they do. Cool, fine, whatever, right? You know, no one's going to cry over spilt milk. It is what it is. But it's something that I said a while back where I said, someone's going to pick up that tab. You know, someone's got to pick up that tab. Yeah, Microsoft, they threw it out. They you know, they paid for it outright. But it's a trickle-down effect. Someone's picking up the tab. You know who's picking up that tab? The gamer. Some way, somehow, that tab is being picked up. We want games to keep releasing. We want games to get better. We want games to get bigger, right? Who's paying for it? Yeah, the company's going to pay for it. Cool. How does the company get money? What return do they get? And then what people say, oh, well, the game's got to be worth it. It's got to be, it's got to be, I'll buy it if it's worth it. It's got to be 80 hours, 90 hours, 20 hours, 50 hours. Oh, it's only 10, 15 hours. That's not worth 70. That's not, where's the replayability? Where's the multiplayer? Where's this? Where's that? And it's like, what games are you playing right now that you are doing that? What games you playing right now? Oh, I'm jumping from this and that and this and that. What games have you finished? I'm jumping from this and that and this and that. Like, you asking for all this stuff, but you ain't even finishing the games that do that already. What's going on here? Yo, Jose, not Jose. Hey, Jesus, what's good, bro? Deshaun, what's good, man? Deshaun. But he says, during that time, we've also seen more consolidation. Consolidation is the enemy. So this one is actually really, really interesting. I want to read the whole thing because this quote is really interesting. Right? So he goes, so this is Shawn Layden, obviously. He goes, so during that time, we have also seen more consolidation. Consolidation is the enemy of diversity in some ways. It takes a lot of playing pieces off the table as they grow into these larger conglomerates. And again, we end up with this problem with diversity. Music on a revenue basis is probably 1/5 of the game space, but their cultural impact is 100 times what gaming is. Right now, we are narrowing ourselves down into genres and sequels in certain types of games. Favorites like my own, like Parappa the Rapper and Vib Ribbon, those things don't seem to get a chance to come out on stage. That's bad for the industry and for fans. Over time, that leads to a crumbling of the games industry if we just keep talking about the same people and telling the same stories in the same way. Shout out to Shawn Layden. Really, shout out to Shawn Layden, man. I really have a lot of respect for him. Because this goes back to something that I think was like maybe 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago we were talking about this, right? Where, hold on, let me see how many people in the chat, man. Shout out to y'all. I think it was about maybe 2 weeks ago, right? Where, was it maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, where PlayStation was doing their state of play, right? Remember the state of play? It was a lot of indies, a lot of smaller titles, right? A lot of things on that center stage, right? All eyes was on what was coming out in the near future. A lot of great games, a lot of great indies. Tribes of Midgard got some shine, right? And a lot of people were not happy with that, not satisfied. Fist got shown off, looks great, can't wait for Fist. Lost Judgment, a lot of different, more unique looking titles, things that, like, oh damn, that looks cool, I'd pick that up. A lot of that stuff was on the center stage. A lot of that stuff is out front. What was what was Twitter like? I don't want that. That's not acceptable. I just want the big titles. I want to see this, I want to see that. No one's happy. But what did I say you guys a week before? Before that state of play, what happened? Everyone was rallying together for the indie devs. Well, PlayStation needs to do better at, highlighting indie devs and promoting indies. And, they need to do a better job of working with indie devs and do this. And that was literally just the week before. But then you fast forward now. Well, you fast forward to when the state of play happened. No one's happy. No one's satisfied. How does that work? Just the week before, you told me PlayStation needs to do better with indies. With indie devs. That's what you told me. That's what you told us. That's what you went on podcasts and went to Twitter. That's what you said to us. The very next week, PlayStation does that. You're not satisfied. How does that work? Somebody explain that. My fault, Dijon. I pronounced it wrong, really? Hold on, we gon' hold on, Dijon. We about to consult we about to consult Google Translate real quick, Dijon, because damn, what Google Translate talking about real quick. What the hell? Why won't... Bro, what? Translate. Google Translate. All right, there we go. English. All right, your name is D-E-J-U-A-N. That's your name, right? Let's see how Google Translate. You feel me? Oh, no, not that one. Dewan. Ah. Wait, is that right? Dewan. What? Dewan. Oh shit. Yo, Dewan. Is that right, Dewan? Let me know, cause I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if I've been pronouncing your name wrong this whole time. Dewan. But that's Spanish? Dewan? What, really? I've really been pronouncing this man's name incorrect. Damn, I'm a piece of shit. I'm sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. Well, Craig, tell him, man.
You're a millennial piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, the one. The one. Oh, that's record. That's record. All right, let's continue. Let me know in the chat, Dijon. Yes, not like the mustard. Dijon. So Dewan. Oh, Dewan. I thought it was Dijon, man. My fault, Dewan. I'm sorry, bro. I'm so sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Matter of fact, Craig, tell him shut fuck up. I'm sorry, man. I was. Can you guys hear that? Yeah, I keep forgetting. I gotta set the. Wait, let me add the sound for. Jesus Christ, output. Okay, that's not audio. Soundboard. There we go. Craig, tell me shut the fuck up.
Persona, shut the fuck up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Craig. My fault, man. Listen, Dewan, I'm sorry, bro. I've been pronouncing your name incorrectly. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So, where was I at? What were we talking about? Hold on, let me get my thought back. I was on fire. Let me get my thought back. My thought. So yeah, people just that week before was telling me how indies need to be on me showing more, need to be supported, supporting indie devs, all this other stuff. PlayStation does just that the week that following week, and no one's happy. People they just want to see Horizon, and don't get me twisted. I definitely want to see more Horizon, see God of War. I definitely want to see those things as well. But Fist, Tribes of Midgar, all these other games, I've been definitely looking forward to these as well, right? And like I said, indies that catch my attention, they definitely gonna get my support always. But listen, you gotta catch my attention, right? And this is why this is a bit of a double-edged sword for me, right? Because I do agree that indies definitely need to have their time to shine. They need to have their spotlight, and they need to be definitely, because a lot of indie devs are definitely very unique in how they're creating their games and what they're doing, and the different types of games, like besides Tribes of Midgar, with Ender's Lilies. I think Chris Tales is made by Indie Studio as well. So, Chris Tales is super unique, super dope. You get what I'm saying? It's a lot of great indies out there. You feel me? But this is the thing too, man. And I don't think devs are going to like this. Some devs might not like this, right? Some gamers might not like this. But it has to be said, your game also has to be appealing. Your game also has to be something that catches the audience's eye, right? Like, I will always, and really all games, not just indies, all games, I'll always give a game a try, but everyone isn't me, right? You have to, indie devs have to get a bit better with kind of how they promote, right? Or what they show, or how they build some of these games, right? Again, you want them to be creative. You don't want them to be put into a box, right? And again, every game, that's the other side of it too. It's really a triple-edged sword, because really every game ain't for everybody, man. That's also it's three sides to this. you know, every game isn't for everybody. Indie devs definitely need to do what they do, and you know, people should give indies a chance for those that don't. But again, the game has to pull your attention. The game has, you'd be like, oh damn, this is kind of dope. Like Chris Tales, you know, I looked at the gameplay, I'm like, yo, this is turn-based. It's got like this cutesy vibe to it. It's really cool, man. Like, it looks dope. The combat looks dope. You know, and then you play it, and you know, it's playing around with the time aspect, with the time stones, and you know, the way the combat works and how you deflect and parry. And it's a very interactive turn-based game, very unique, right? I don't have no problem supporting that, 100%. But you know, some of these other indies that I see, I'm looking at them and I'm like, you know, that's not really my cup of tea. I can't really vibe or jive with this. I'm good. And I'm sure there's a lot of people like that. Cool. But I do think indie devs do deserve their fair chance and their fair shake. I agree 100%. But it's not just all on the indies, and it's not just all on the community. But I do think that the gaming community should be a bit more open-minded to indie devs, indie games, and the things that they put out, because a lot of that stuff really is unique. 100%. Yo, Sinister, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Yo, Magnificent, what's good, bro? Appreciate you. Blue Box Studio game abandoned in Silent Hill. I'm not going down that rabbit hole with that Blue Box bullshit. But you know, I believe it is Silent Hill, and they just bullshitting. But anyway, yo, Amanda, what's up, man? Appreciate you, Amanda. So, you know, this is pretty cool, you know, and I get what he's saying with, you know, you don't want the industry to kind of get put into this box, right? Because, you know, the other side of it is the consolidation of what we see in, like, you know, we see the Halo Gears, not Halo Gears and Forza, like, you know, we see like the CODs, you know, the sports titles, the things that kind of always make the top of the charts every year. And, you know, for a lot of people, think, oh, well, it's just the same old game. I really don't think so when it comes to COD. I mean, the core, here's the thing, right? People see shooty, bang, bang, run around, dodge, and think, oh, it's the same thing. No, especially with Call of Duty. A lot of people, if I go down this COD rabbit hole, this shit about to turn into like a 30-hour podcast. Listen, I'm gonna be brief with my COD explanation real quick. The misconception that a lot of people get with Call of Duty is that, oh, because they see the guns, they see the shooty, bang, bang, all this, they think it's the same shit. No, those are the core of a game, meaning what makes that genre a game, that is what you're looking at with COD. But when you peel back the layers, the movement, the maps, the spawns, the guns, how they feel, the recall, you know, all those different things, the perks, how they work, the equipment, the attachments, right? When you start really putting things together, no two CODs, no two Call of Duty games are the same. Go play Modern Warfare and then go play Black Ops 4. Two totally different games. Go play Black Ops 4 and then go play Cold War. Two totally different games. Go play Call of Duty Ghost and then go play Advanced Warfare. Two totally different games. Go play Black Ops 2 and then go play Black Ops 3. Two totally different games. Go play Call of Duty Modern Warfare Original and then go play Call of Duty World at War. Two totally different games. So when you peel back those layers, COD really is, it's a very diverse experience to a degree. I really, even though I think COD is shit right now, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. COD is garbage right now. Like, you know, Cold War is so garbage. Like, I don't want to go down that path. Anyway, but dude, bro, games, yo, Buck, what's up, man? But you know, I do get what he's saying, what Shawn Layden is saying when he says, you know, he doesn't want things to kind of get put into a box, right? And turn into these larger and grow into these larger conglomerates. I think part of what he was hinting at with this is also, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, chat. Because I'm reading this first section here, and I feel like part of this is he's also talking about acquisitions to a degree. Because I think, does he mention it later in this? Does he mention it? I think he mentions it a bit later. This match for rate of inflation. I believe he mentions it later, but I don't know. When I read this quote here, I kind of feel like he's talking about acquisitions a little bit. I don't know how y'all feel about it. Yo, look at that quote, guys. Am I off base here? Let me know in the chat. Am I off base? Let me know if I'm off base. If I'm off base, then but I don't know. I feel like he's kind of talking about acquisitions here a little bit, just because, you know, when you speak, when I think consolidation, my mind kind of, when I think consolidation in the industry, I do think of, you know, obviously the same old when it comes to games, right? But I think also, because, you know, the problem with diversity, you know, everyone not having the freedom to create what they want, but a lot of that freedom that people don't have to create what they want is because of who they answer to or who they're under. How does that work? Acquisitions, things of that nature. I kind of think it kind of falls within that as well when you read between the lines a little bit. Yo, Juan Sosa Gamer, what's good, bro? Appreciate you. But, you know, I might be off base a little bit, but that's what I think. I do think. And in terms of acquisitions, I mean, listen, you know, I don't think any of us want to live within an industry where everything is owned by only 3 or 4 people, right? You want to have that independence. You want to have people that's just creating and making what they want and don't really have to answer to any suits or explain how this is lucrative for the company or things like that. I understand that 1,000,000%, right? I definitely do think that that is not a gaming world that I want, right? And listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like, you guys already know who I would want PlayStation to. I do think, listen, acquisitions are always going to happen, and I do think they should happen, but strategically, right? I've always said this. When it came to PlayStation, I've always maintained the stance that whatever acquisitions PlayStation were to do, they should be strategic and make sense to the overall bottom line, and they should make sense to the vision of what PlayStation is trying to do, right? When we look at the acquisitions of what PlayStation has done within the past 3 years, right? Because you look at Insomniac, right? Business with this, Insomniac is known for making quirky games. They make a lot of different things. They made Spider-Man. Spider-Man was a huge hit. Now they're on the PlayStation, right? They're still making those quirky games. They're still pumping out content, and it's still maintaining the essence of Insomniac, right? But now it's that in essence under PlayStation, but that essence is still there. That, I think, makes sense to the overall brand of PlayStation and makes sense to what PlayStation is trying to convey to consumers and people when it comes to what they want to do, right? You look at Housemarque. Again, another company that PlayStation has had a very strong positive relationship with, has made a lot of games on PlayStation, right? Again, going to that quirky, more different style of game, you know, with the roguelikes and the twin stick shooters and all that different stuff. It falls within the PlayStation mantra of what they do, right? The diverse catalog. That makes sense. Whenever they announced Bluepoint, again, you know, Bluepoint, they've been working very closely. Shadow Colossus, they did that game, came out phenomenal with the remake. They did the remake of Demon's Souls. They started this gen, like, you know, opened up this gen with that game, and it was a hit, and people love it and things like that. When that acquisition does happen, that makes sense to the overall of what PlayStation's trying to do, right? When you look at what PlayStation has done in the past, what they've done in the recent past, and what they are doing now, and what it looks like to the future, it does, to me personally. And these are things that Jim Ryan has said, that, you know, the partnerships that they're trying to cultivate and the acquisitions that do happen have to make sense to PlayStation, and they don't want to just gobble people up and, oh, all you mine only. And I don't want PlayStation to do that either. Honestly, I've told you, in terms of acquisitions, I would love for them to have Square and Arc Systems. I think that would be great for PlayStation. I'm not going to sit here and deny that, but I'm not expecting them to go out and buy the industry. I'm not expecting them to eat up the industry and keep everything on one platform, right? I don't want that. I don't think that needs to happen. But I do think that PlayStation also needs to remain competitive within an industry where PlayStation needs to remain competitive within an industry where everyone is not thinking like PlayStation, right? Everyone's not, you know, we see what Microsoft has done and are doing, right? Nintendo, you know, not so much. I wish I had my anomaly sound. They're an anomaly. Like, Nintendo's a bit of an anomaly in that situation because they're not really doing acquisitions per se, right? But Nintendo is doing a good job of locking down big titles to their platform, right? Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2, two very immensely popular games that sold very well on the Switch, locked to only the Switch. Octopath Traveler, when that first came out, a great game, something that is right up my alley. I put about 50 hours into that game. Great game. It's now starting to creep out to other platforms and other consoles. But when that first came out, it was locked to their platform. Astral Chain, locked to their platform, right? I think Nintendo is doing a good job of locking down those third-party deals of great games being made for just their platform, right? So everyone is doing something to compete. So in an industry like that, I do think that PlayStation needs to also look at the lay of the land, look at what's going on, and act and move accordingly. We see the partnerships that they're making and doing with Deviation, J. Raymond Studio, Firewalk. I forgot the other one, but I think it's like one or two more, right? And then we see the acquisitions: Nixxes, Bluepoint when it happens, Housemarque, Insomniac. Strategic. I think that's pretty diverse. In my opinion, I think that's pretty diverse. Personally. Right? But he talks, and obviously, he talks about like the new studio that he's with. He's with a studio called Streamlined, and part of why he chose this is because they're very diverse, speak a number of different languages, and they have people from 47 different countries and things like that. And he thinks that they would be a good place to kind of break past that 260 million people, right? Which I think is pretty cool. Like, shout out to him. He found a new home, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Then he talks of of course mobile. If you add in mobile phones, you get to hundreds of millions of players, but those are related but distinct categories. We've learned over time that mobile gaming isn't necessarily a gateway into consoles, but just a different thing for people to do at a different time of day. I mean, you guys know how I feel about mobile gaming. I've always felt that like mobile gaming just, I don't like it. Like, I don't support that. I hate how like Square is putting a lot of these beloved games and franchises onto mobile, but not putting them on consoles. Like that shit bugs me out, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, why? Like, for instance, the Pixel remasters for Final Fantasy 1 through 6. Do you understand how big that would be if those came to consoles, man? Why are those not on consoles? If anything, the Switch. Why? Like, I'm surprised these shits aren't on the Switch. I would have bought them on the Switch and be happy as hell. Not even on the Switch? What is going on? They need to get better at that. Like, unacceptable. Then they say, oh, well, we'll put them on other consoles. We'll put them on consoles if the demand is there. My dude, what are you looking for? You want somebody to be tap dancing in the boardroom? Like, you want people to be begging? I'm not about to beg, bruh. Like, I don't beg, bruh. Listen, people want, at the damn E3, people were hyped because they thought them shits was coming. And then look at all the anger and dissatisfaction when they find out, oh, it's going to mobile and Steam. What? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Square, get your shit together. You fucking up. Get your shit together. From a real Square fan, by the way. Get your shit together. Anyway. But even that, it doesn't match to the rate of inflation. Okay, so this one is a good one as well. Let's talk about this, right? So it says it seems to Layden that this is more than just making sure the games industry grows financially. Shortly after his Game Lab talk, certain games publishers raised the price of their video games for the first time in 2 generations, but this doesn't solve the problem. And so then later he talks about, but even that, it doesn't match the rate of inflation over the last 20 years. It helps, but not enough. And not enough to open doors for new talent to come in. Again, the entrenched players are holding on to their market and trying to extract a little bit more value out of it. It doesn't solve the problem. if these big opportunities and challenges that has drawn Layton to Streamline Media, the group is part developer, part service business, offering art, code, QA, localization, and technology to other studios, whilst also creating its own games. And the cool thing about Streamline as well is, because he talks about it with the article, we'll kind of glaze over it. He talks about how with Streamline, they're also kind of partnering with like fashion icons and things like that. So gaming is, he speaks to how gaming has kind of moved past just being, the console and just gaming, but also moves into like the fashion world when it comes to like what they're doing with this partnership, where like, they're introducing a new fashion line through gaming, which is pretty cool, right? So, it's a lot of differences when it comes to how gaming is consumed now, right? It's not just the traditional, but when it comes to the financial growth, again, this is what we were just talking about earlier. Even raising the price at 70, when you look at the rate of inflation, the amount that a dollar is worth nowadays, and again, how much it costs to create games. Just look at the world right now, guys. Money. When it comes to money, or when it comes to how things are being created, more money is needed. I do think so. I agree. Again, the rate of inflation, the rate of a dollar, and all that stuff. I agree with that 100% when it comes to that. Technologies. This part is pretty much him just kind of talking about the fashion. This Alexander Fernandez guy, like the fashion and how it's working. This is Balenciaga, by the way, the CEO. So Alexander Fernandez talks about, them working with Balenciaga to kind of introduce their fall 2021 fashion line. So he kind of talks about how gaming has come into play with that and how that works, and that's pretty cool. Let's kind of move up to where like the meat and potatoes is, right? So the indie development is the constant chase for funding. So we know that. So GoFundMe. Matter of fact, no. Because this goes back to a conversation I was having on this part right here goes back to a conversation I was having on Mooch's podcast last week. Shout out to Mooch, by the way. Big shout out to the boy Mooch, right? Yo, Eric the Beard, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Big shout out to the boy Mooch. I just want to see how many people's in here. Shout out to everybody here right now. I appreciate y'all. Y'all amazing. Y'all rock. I appreciate y'all so much. So it says the independent developer is the constant chase for funding that's so all-consuming it becomes even harder now. On one hand, the overall budgets for games are no longer in the $15,000 range. They require some serious capital, and indies are going out there looking for that funding. And the ones who have real promise are just being bought out and sucked into a larger vortex filled with studios sitting under a larger hat. Or they're being told things like, why don't you start a GoFundMe and you can get a certain amount of money and then come back and we'll look again. The leverage is so disproportionately in the publishing side of the business that the creative side doesn't have the chance to move its vision forward without coming to some form of financial agreement or trying to do something underfunded and working like crazy to then be told we're not interested, and then the whole thing just crashes and burns. This goes back to what I was talking about with Psychonauts 2, right? Again, shout out to Moot, shout out to Brad, shout out to the boy, shout out to the boys over there, right? Nothing but respect for them. But when I was trying to make the point of, a lot of people, because this is one thing that a lot of people do in the game community is, they say, oh yeah, a lot of people want this game, a lot of people care about these games, they care about this, care about that, right? But the whole thing with Psychonauts 2 is it had to be crowdfunded, right? So at one point, whatever studio or whatever was going on, no one saw the faith in making a second game of Psychonauts because they didn't think that interest would be there. Then you fast forward to what SkillUp said about, oh yeah, this is a great game in Game Pass. I wouldn't see somebody buying this, all this other shit, or however he said it, right? all that bullshit that people saying, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is what it is. People, if you have to put something in crowdfunding, it's to gauge interest. Companies or studios or investors or whatever aren't seeing the interest in it because there is no traction within the community for a want for something like this. Listen, and this is nothing against Psychonauts. Shout out to the boys at Double Fine. Shout out to the game. You get what I'm saying? I do hope it finds a success. You know, all that good stuff, right? Let's get all that out the way, right? But at the same time, looking at the gaming community, I didn't really see a lot of people saying, "Man, I wish I had a Psychonauts 2." And again, I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful to anybody. Like, I understand a lot of people work really hard on this game, but I'm being honest. I didn't see people saying, "Man, I wish I had a Psychonauts 2." Did you? The gaming community, chat, let me know. Did you? I didn't. It's only after it got under Microsoft that you started seeing, I can't wait for this game. This looks amazing.
Bruh.
Congratulations, you played yourself. Congratulations, you played yourself. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Listen. Let's not cap. Let's not cap, guys. Like, let's not cap. Let's cut the cap. Let's cut the cap. Okay. The game was in crowdfunding. That tells you a lot about the interest. That tells you a lot, and it got the money, so there definitely was interest there. But that lets you know the routes they had to take to get this game off the ground before they wanted to Microsoft. Cut the cap, bruh. Cut the cap. Cut the cap. Yo, Andre 6K, what's good, bro? Let's cut the cap. Cause there's no need. Cut the cap. Cut the cap. Stop it. So we create an entry for the bona fide talent. This goes back to what Lana was saying about the consolidation of gaming. It should be an enemy to diversity, concerning that high number of merge. Yeah, so I was right. I remember that definitely. So there was like, this goes back to what Layton has been saying about the consolidation in the games industry being the enemy of diversity, considering the high number of mergers and acquisitions. Is he concerned about where this activity takes the business? So again, acquisitions and things like that is definitely something that could be a cause for concern, because again, when you start buying up the industry, it really does create a monopoly, or it definitely does, segregate the community in that regard. But again, that's business. That's also business. Consolidation from bank ledger. Okay, he talks about that. All right, let's get to the quote, that magical quote that got everybody in their feelings. But that doesn't mean that it means that it's gonna be this. But that's not right. Let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about it, because people are making this. Well, what they love to say, guys. Well, who's Shawn Layden? They love to talk that shit, boy. Well, who's Shawn Layden? Why should I care what he has to say? They love to dismiss. They love to dismiss anything that goes against their thought process. Never mind mind you, Shawn Layden ran an entire gaming division under a successful gaming division, by the way, on the PlayStation, right? The man has 20 plus years of experience within this industry, right? Put some respect on my boy Shawn. Put some fucking respect on his name. Put some respect. You get what I'm saying? Put some respect, right? My man knows what he's talking about. He's been in this industry for how long? Put some respect. This ain't just some Joe Smo off the street sitting on a podcast trying to tell you, Game Pass is bad. It's not the same. This ain't some Joe Smo off the street. right? This is a dude, this is a person, this is a man, this is a person that has experience within this industry at the highest of level, rose through the ranks, ran a successful gaming division with PlayStation. This man understands this industry unlike no other. So you goddamn right, I'm going to listen to what this man has to say, and I am going to take it as gospel, as fact. Do with that as you will. I don't care. Feel how you feel. You're free to feel how you feel, but the fact of the matter is this. Let's read on, guys, because reading is fundamental. All right. Layton comments on the size of the console market reflect that of Xbox boss Phil Spencer, who believes things like subscription services, Game Pass, and streaming technology, xCloud, will enable the console games industry to go beyond that 250 million number, but Layden is skeptical. People don't buy consoles because they don't want more steel and plastic in the living room. People buy consoles because they want access to the content. If you can find a way to get the content into people's homes without a box, then yes, indeed. Everyone has a streaming solution of some form. Most of it is limited by whether you have a decent internet connection. And they haven't constructed the business model that works yet for that. It's very hard to launch a $120 million game in a subscription service charging $9.99 a month. You pencil it out, you're going to have 500 million subscribers before you start to recoup your investment. That's why right now you need to take a loss leading position to try to grow that base, but still, if you have only 250 million consoles out there, they're not going to get a 500 million subscribers. So how do you circle that square? Nobody has figured that out yet. Let me explain something to you. Listen. Are you listening? Come closer. Are you listening? You listening? All right, cool. Let me explain something to you. Let me explain something to you. What have I been saying for months? Yo, listen. Back to the disclaimer I said at the beginning of the show. If you love Game Pass, cool. Listen, I'm not gonna fight that fight with you. You love Game Pass, that's your main way of gaming, cool. You won't support a game if it's not in Game Pass, so be it. I'm not gonna fight that fight with you. I'm not having that fight. I'm not having that conversation. Do what you do. If you like it, I love it. You get what I'm saying? Do what you do. Do what makes you happy. But here's where things get a bit muddy. A little bit, just a tad bit muddy, right? Because these were conversations that I, Jay Barry, Sikuma TV, King Thrash Gaming, many people within and many people within on YouTube and all these other places were having these conversations of sustainability. People and what do people say? Oh, well, you know, Microsoft is a $2 trillion company. They got all this money. They don't gotta worry about nothing. I said, what? I always laugh when people use that whole, they look at a company's valuation and determine that, oh yeah, that means they got just $2 trillion to throw. No, that's one. Two, a company is not going to keep throwing large amounts. Now they'll throw money at it, sure, but they're not going to keep throwing large amounts of money at things like this. So one of two things is going to happen. This is what we were talking about, you know, when the Game Pass conversations were super high and the rah, right? The conversation is this. The two things are this. One, you're going to see smaller titles and less AAA quality, super AAA, you know, the bells and whistles that people love. You're going to see more smaller titles, more service-based titles, more gas, more games as a service, things that people hate. Oh, I hate games as a service. I hate it. I hate microtransactions. I hate it. You know, all that stuff that people claim they hate. Right? You're going to start seeing more of that to offset the loss. you'll see a big title here or there, two or one or two. You'll see some big title. And when I say big title, because people like say, oh well, what about Outriders? What about this? And Outriders didn't cost $200 million to make. I would even argue Outriders didn't cost $150 million to make. No, no, not at all. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Buck said, you don't get it because you're a pony. Why spend $5 a month for 800 games when you can spend $15 a month for 300? Plus, you can get 10 to 20% off the game when it's leaving at its full price. You're right, Buck. I'm just a pony, I guess. Right? But let's have this conversation, guys. Let's have this conversation. So, that's the first thing, right? It's gonna the cost. Games will get smaller, be more gassy, as in games as a service, right? All those different things. Cool, fine, whatever, right? The other side of it is the price of Game Pass is gonna go up. When I first had Netflix, it was $8.99 a month. You know how much I pay for Netflix now? I pay almost $20 a month for Netflix. It's like, what, $15.99 for the 4K shit or something like that? Because realistically, Netflix has been in this streaming game. And again, because people love to say, oh, well, the Netflix of gaming. That's what people love to use, that Game Pass as the Netflix of gaming. And the Netflix. No. No, because if that's the case, when you have to look at, see, and this is where a lot of people make that mistake. They'll say those types of terms of, oh well, the Netflix of gaming and all this, but no one wants to look at the Netflix's success or their debts and things like that when it comes to that realm, right? Because Netflix has definitely been in this game for a very long time, and even Netflix isn't at 250 million subscribers. Disney just entered the game, putting out top tier content, and only are at 90 million. And they're putting out elite content. Netflix is putting out brand new shows all the time. They are dumping money into Netflix streaming, and it is putting them in debt. Right now, they're upwards of 20 billion in debt. Yo, Corey, what's good, man? Appreciate you, bro. Almost 20 billion in debt. $18.99. Shout out to you, KL. $18.99. Almost 20 billion in debt. Where's the sustainability when it comes to gaming? Because people say, oh well, games are different. Okay, let's. Wait, what the hell is Buck talking about? Dude never speak on that 10 to 20% off a full original game price. So much wrong with the Game Pass, but they never speak on it. Ponies never get out preaching PS9. What? I hope, are you trolling, Buck? I think you trolling, but let's play around like you're not trolling for a second. All right, so the 10 to 20% off for games that they want to buy, fine. But what is the main thing that excuse me, what is the main thing that people want out of Game Pass? They want the games to go into the service for the $15 a month or $10 or $5 or whatever you're paying. That's the main thing that people want. How many times have we seen people say, oh, well, I don't want to buy this. I'm going to wait for it to go to Game Pass, or you should have put this in Game Pass. It'll do better in Game Pass. All this stupid shit, right? People want their money. That's why Battlefield 2042 ain't going in Game Pass. That's why you'll never see a COD at launch. I'm talking at launch, guys. Now listen, this is why I said the method of how PlayStation is doing it, or the method of how it's the movie method, right? You put it out in theaters, right? You get all that money of how you're gonna put, then you put a sale to it, or then it goes to DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, right? After some time, and then after Blu-ray and DVD, after some time, it goes down to streaming, like it'll go to Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, wherever, right? Then it'll go to regular cable like HBO, cable stars or some bullshit like that, right? It's a trickle down method. That's how PlayStation has been treating a lot of their games, right? And honestly, again, I wouldn't want something to be day and date ever, never, ever, 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 ever would I ever want something to be day and date into PS Now. I would never advocate for something like that. Never. Because I understand, me personally, I understand what it takes to make these games, the cost, and I want to support my hobby. I'm willing to support my hobby in the industry in that way. Now, some people are here and say, oh, it's just because you're a fanboy and you're a pony. Nah, I'm talking period. I buy Nintendo games. You get what I'm saying? I'll buy the games. I have no issue with that. But if you're going to do that, like how Xbox is doing it, sure. Remember, I'm 100% physical games only. The only service 8 pay for phone, water, and electric. It says, Persona, I think you missed my point, is that they are lying to us. Oh, okay, I got you. They're lying to us about the service. Got you. Okay, Buck. My fault. But that's the whole thing, right? So when you look at what Shawn Layden is saying, and saying like, a $120 million game, that, that's not going in, that something like that's not going into a Game Pass. Essentially, what he's saying and what I'm getting at is $120+ million game is not going into a service day and date. It's not. It's either going to be scaled back, or it's going to have microtransactions out the ass. This is me, what I think, right? It's going to be scaled back, microtransactions out the ass, or all these different things that people claim to hate but will accept when it's in a subsidized service. This is an industry that, again, guys, I keep saying this because I really mean this. This is not an industry or a gaming environment that I want personally. I don't want this to sweep through and become the norm across the board, because I honestly think this is, a lot of people think it's great now, right? I'm telling you, if this was something that was to sweep across the board, it's not going to be as great as people think, because they think they're still going to be getting all these grandiose games. Hell no. When shit starts going into a service, you're going to get what you get, because you're only paying $5 to $10 to $15 or $20. What do you think you're getting for that price? And if you think these companies won't do that and say, hey, look, or make shit episodic or cut shit down even more, if you really think these companies wouldn't do that, and I'm not just talking about Microsoft, I'm talking across the board. If you think they wouldn't do something like that to do the bare minimum and be able to get money off you, yo, you out of your mind, man. You out of your mind. Yo, Corey, he's saying that no one mentions that the 10 to 20% discount of Game Pass is only on the original release price, meaning a 2-year-old game gets a 20% discount. Got you. Okay, I get it. Same here. I got stacks of games for all consoles. I support the hobby. Hey, Seuss, that's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying, man. This is what I'm saying, man. Right? And it's not an us versus them thing, right? Because a lot of people will hear the conversation and they'll think, oh, well, it's just Persona, it's Persona, he prefers PlayStation, so that means he's just being a pony. It's not that, man. Like, it really is not that. I'm really trying to come at this as humbly as I can, because again, I do not want this to be an industry-wide thing that sweeps across, because I do not think we would get the level of quality that we are getting now. You think you're gonna put some, because again, they go back to Netflix, right? Right? Oh, well, Netflix puts out great shows. Yeah, they do. And the shits be fucking 5, 6, 7, 8 episodes for a season. Remember back in the day? Back in the day, an entire season was 22 episodes, 25 episodes, 21 episodes or whatever. Now you're getting 4, 5, 6. Some of these shows only have 4 episodes, 5 episodes. That's a season. You get what I'm saying? Any place, anywhere any place where they can do less and still get more from you, they will do. Straight up. So, you know, that's my whole thing. So I get where Shawn Layden is saying, and I agree with him 100%. Either I think the games are going to get smaller, or, which I most definitely think the games will get smaller. Like if this was an industry-wide thing, meaning PlayStation, Nintendo, everyone, if everyone was doing this across the board, games would get smaller and games would release less. The rate that games release would be less. Because you paying $10, bruh. $15. You got no room to complain. You got no room to complain. You paying $10. It's like when you go to McDonald's or a fast food restaurant, right? And you complain, oh yeah, why is my burger so messy? And why is my burgers, and you know, so you take it back to the cash register, and they're like, man, you pay $8 for this fucking meal. Like, you ain't at a 5-star restaurant. You're not even at a 3-star restaurant, right? You're not at a decent restaurant where they'll make you a great burger that's stacked up pretty nice and high, and it, you know, it's juicy and all that good stuff. I'm kind of hungry, that's what I'm talking about, food. But you get my point, right? You really don't have a lot of room to complain. Oh, well, I'm a paying customer. Yeah, you're paying $8. You're going to get $8 worth of quality. What is that? Then granted, a lot of people, they don't care. They'll still eat it. Because, you know, McDonald's still around. They'll eat it. But when they want that true experience, where they going? They going to a good restaurant, get that steak, mashed potatoes, and some veggies. Them garlic mashed potatoes and veggies. They going to a good restaurant, and they're going to pay that top dollar, because that's what the restaurant requires. There is no exception. They're not going to come to you and say, oh, well, why is this meal $45? It should be $20. At McDonald's, I can get this burger and fries for $8.99. Why am I paying $45 here? No. You come into the restaurant, you expect quality service, you expect quality food. That's what you're going to get, but you're going to pay quality prices. There's no exception. You look at the menu, you see the price, either you accept it or you don't. It's that simple. Straight up. That's what the game industry has become anyway. We've been getting half-assed games. That's what I'm saying. And it's a couple people left that's still trying to put out quality out here. Indie devs included, because indie devs, I do think, put out quality experiences. But when you get to some of these larger AAA games, especially third party, man. Again, third party, a lot of these companies are really cutting corners with some of this stuff, and it's crazy how much they're getting away with the stuff that I see. It's crazy. Because I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, shit. do people really care? Yo, just a guy, appreciate you, bro. He says Scarlet Nexus is dope. I've been playing it. Yo, man, that's what's up, man. I appreciate you, just a guy, for the super chat. What storyline are you playing? Are you doing Yuito or Kasane? I did Kasane's. She's her storyline. Excuse me. I did Yuito's. I still need to finish Kasane and get the platinum, which, you know, I'll do that later on. There's too many games out here, man. It's too many games. I'll do it later. Yeah, so, you know, listen, man, shout out to Shawn Layden. Like I said, a great article by GameIndustry.biz. Like I said, I do hope one day I can get Shawn Layden on for an interview and we have a conversation. I really think it'll be a great conversation. And, you know, I got a lot of respect for the man. I met him at a couple PSXs. At PSX, I met him. I'll probably post the pictures up on Twitter one day. This was a couple years back, but, you know, again, a great guy. Really great guy. But, yo, man, let's real quick, man, before we, you know, let's talk about what people, you know, the success. Let's talk about the success, because, you know, people love to say things, but then when they get proven wrong, well, that don't matter. What does that mean? That don't mean much. It means the world. It means the world. Trust and believe. It means the goddamn world. Trust me. I cannot make this up. Trust me. Right? Where's it at? Okay, here we go. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Shout out to Bar. Yo, real quick, man. Yo, big shout. I don't know if Barry's listening or not. Man, I done said happy birthday to this man like 4 times. Yo, shout out, happy birthday to my brother, my bro, Jay Barry, man. Today is his birthday, man. Make sure y'all go to his Twitter, hit him up, wish him a happy birthday if you haven't already. Yo, man, many blessings to my brother, man, my bro. I know he's enjoying this day. I know he's enjoying this week, right? I know he's doing a lot of great things, man. So, I'm happy he's able to see another year, right? And I hope he sees many, 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 many more healthy years. And shout out to my boy, man. Shout out to my boy Barry, man. Big shout out to my bro, man, my boy. Let me pop out the chat real quick before we talk about this. Let's talk about it real quick. So, let's talk about the success. What I tell y'all, man. What I tell y'all, man. I keep trying to tell you. See, y'all don't listen. That's your problem. You don't listen. What I tell y'all, man. I told y'all that when you put out quality, people will buy. You understand? When you put out quality, people will support. When you put out quality, all eyes is on PlayStation. Hey, yo, round of applause, my boys at PlayStation, man. Round of applause to my boys at PlayStation, man. Round of applause to my boys, man. So listen, it's official. PlayStation 5 hits 10 million consoles sold. That's official. That is official. PlayStation hits 10 million consoles sold. Legendary. What they say? What's the saying goes? Yo, Caleb, I appreciate you for the super chat. He says, Kina has been delayed. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second too, Caleb. We're going to talk about that. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate you. What's the saying? How's the saying go, ladies and gentlemen? First to 10 million wins the generation. Well, listen. I'm just saying. Listen. I am just saying. PlayStation, they stand up. That's all I'm trying to say. So listen, PS5 hits 10 million consoles sold. Again, congratulations. Spider-Man Miles Morales delivers 6.5 million. Ooh. 6.5 million units sold, right? MLB The Show surpasses 2 million. Shout out to the baseball boys, right? And then Ratchet and Clank clocks in at over 1 million. So we know that Ratchet did 1 million in about 3 weeks. About a month, actually. A month. Congratulations, man. Like, this is really good. Like, I'm really happy for PlayStation. I want that success to continue. I already know once they get more consoles in people's hands, once they get more consoles in the stores, once that production starts to ramp up, it's really gonna I think that number's gonna take off. Especially, again, we got Horizon, God of War, GT7, a bunch of other games, Final Fantasy 16 that's gonna be coming to PlayStation 5 exclusively. All these great things that's coming, Forspoken, Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac. It's a lot of great games that's coming from PlayStation, and that stuff is definitely going to matter and mean something, and it's gonna really pick up. And and then again, all the other games that I think people are waiting to play until they come to until they're able to get a PS5, because like we saw with Spider-Man Miles Morales, we kept seeing Spider-Man throughout the months. Spider-Man kept charting the more consoles that were getting sold. So I think a lot of people were definitely buying that Miles Morales or waiting to buy and play that on PlayStation 5, right? So that's definitely a good thing, right? So I think as more consoles become available, I think we're going to be seeing Miles Morales be in the charts much more, right? I see Miles Morales getting to 10 million by the end of this year. I can definitely see 10 million 10 million units of Miles Morales sold by the end of this year. I could definitely, especially around holiday time with the Black Friday bundles and all that good stuff. Yeah, Miles Morales is definitely going to be doing really good this year. Ratchet and Clank as well. I can see Ratchet probably getting to about 3 million by the end of the year. 2 or 3. I say 3 million comfortably, respectively. I say 3 million, about 2.5, maybe 3 million. And MLB, you know, I can see MLB getting to maybe like 4 million, 4 or 5 million. Because a lot of people like baseball, but I think because it's now on other platforms, because now it's on Xbox, those numbers might be off a little bit. But you know, it being on other platforms did not stop it from finding success, which is good. You get what I'm saying? Rollo said, Persona got Xbox numbers, Persona, and they are, Xbox is the fastest selling numbers, MIA. Yo, shout out to you, Rollo, man. Hey, Jesus, crazy attach rate on Spider-Man. Yeah, hey, Jesus, man, that's a good thing, man. I really can appreciate that. Buck said, Ratchet & Clank at 1 million is pretty good for an early launch game. Yeah, I think it's phenomenal, honestly. I see a lot of people trying to make fun of that. Oh, well, you know, Ratchet is only at 1 million. It's not. I told you, Ratchet's not a system seller. Ratchet's not a good game. My man's, show me an Xbox game right now at 1 million. Like, it's crazy with this community, bro. Especially these like Xbox fanboys that love to talk that talk, because they can't. When it's time for them to produce numbers, it's always excuses. Show me an Xbox title that's pushing 1 million right now. You ain't got shit. Shut up. So, you know, there's that. I'm happy though. Shout out to PlayStation. One last thing I want to talk about real quick. Right? This kind of made me sad, you know, seeing this news. I ain't gonna lie to you, bruh. This made me sad, man. Where is it? I seen it earlier. Where is it at? I retweeted it. Oh, here we go. So, unfortunately, ladies and gents, we got some really bad news, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This one hurt because I was already in a bad mood because of my audio situation. So I'm like sitting here and I'm like, yo, what? Like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Right? Kena Bridges Spirits, which was originally supposed to release August 24th, now has been pushed back to September 21st. And so Kena, they say, then this is from the devs themselves, like they put out a message, and they said, we have made the difficult decision to delay the release of Kena until September 21st to polish the game across all platforms. The team has been working extremely hard, and we feel the extra time is crucial to ensure the best experience possible. We know many of you are eager to play, and we appreciate your patience as the team continues to work on delivering the best version of Kena. Thank you for your amazing support, the Amber Labs team. Listen, Amber Labs, you know I love you guys over there. It hurts. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. You know, you're gonna see a lot of people say, well, you know, this is great for gamers. This is great. It still hurts, right? It still hurts. I'm still definitely pissed off because, again, as we're going into August, I was really looking forward to this game and being able to play this in August. So this one hurts, especially because September is pretty packed. So now I have to kind of jumble where my attention is going to be for September, because, you know, Tales of Arise releases at the beginning of September 10th, right? And then Judgment, Fist. Right, Fist and Judgment, those are two games. So Tales of Arise, Fist, Judgment, and now Kena Bridges Spirits. That's 4 games that I'm grabbing in September. That now I'm like, yo, look, that's a lot of games. Like, that's a lot of attention. Like, listen. So I'm kind of feeling a ways, right? Because August was really only going to be Ghost of Tsushima, and Kena was really going to be the mainstays for me in August. But we still got Ghost of Tsushima releasing in August, which I'm very excited about for the Iki Island expansion. But with Kena Bridge of Spirits, I still feel a ways, man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I know I get it. You know, I understand. And I hope the devs, you know, they're able to perfect the game to where they see fit for the community. And, you know, I'm very excited to play it in September. But you know, it still hurts, man. Like I still feel a ways. I feel a ways, man. I do. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I'm not going to lie to you guys, man. I feel a ways. I feel a ways. Yo, get this work. What's good, bro? Appreciate you. So, yo, James Williamson, what's up, man? Persona, I bought Spider-Man Miles Morales, the $80 version, and I still hadn't played it yet, nor do I have a PS5 yet. Hey, man, I respect it, man. I think a lot of people are doing that. You know, buying some of these PlayStation 5 games and holding on to them until they get PS5s. And again, you know, more power to you, man. I can't wait for you all to come into next gen, respectively. Right? Lost Judgment, love the first Judgment game. Yeah, Lost Judgment, I'm really looking forward to that because the first Judgment game was really good. That's a really, really good story. If you guys haven't played Judgment, I definitely highly recommend you guys play that. It's a very, very good game, honestly. But, you know, like I said, Kena, you know, is being delayed till September 21st. So, you know, you guys make sure you guys, you know, set your calendars, set your clocks, right? You know, PlayStation selling 10 million, out here putting numbers, out here doing numbers with their games. People out here supporting. It's a great thing to see, man. I got to be honest, I love it. And, you know, shout out to the boys over there as well at PlayStation. And, you know, like I said, shout out to Shawn Layden. Very good article from Biz Industry. Good quotes from Shawn Layden, man. He's saying a lot of good things when it comes to this industry that I can. I don't agree with everything, but I can see and understand where he's coming from with some of his perspectives. And again, when it comes to the sustainability of this industry, when you speak to service-based games, subscription-based services, you know, it's in my opinion, as of right now, it's a recipe for disaster. And I don't want that to come across the industry. Oh yeah, seafood. I can't wait for that as well. But yo, listen, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate all of you. Like I said, I'm sorry that I had to do the show much later in the week, but I do appreciate everyone that did turn up and come through. Shout out to all of you. I appreciate y'all so much. Round of applause for the people in the chat. So, you know, listen, Tribes of Midgard, I've been playing that since yesterday. I'm gonna play that tonight, actually. I may stream tonight. If not tonight for the Tribes of Midgard stream, definitely this weekend, because there's not gonna be a What's Up PlayStation podcast this week, because you know, Bari, it's his birthday week, so you know he's gonna be out doing things, so it's no podcast this week. So I think in substitute of the podcast, I'll stream some Tribes of Midgard. Probably do like an open lobby, you know, get some people in if people want to play, and we can kind of try to survive, man. You know, try to build up that village and survive. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, listen, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for coming through. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Persona Speaks. Also, if you enjoy the content and want to support the channel, you can become a member. The link to that is in the description. It is not mandatory, but it's appreciated, you know, if you guys do that. I got cool emotes and things like that. Also, merch. Listen, you know, I've got the designs. It's time to blow them up. It's time to put them into where they need to go. So the merch store, I got the Optics shirt. If you guys haven't gotten an Optics shirt yet, definitely grab up an Optics shirt. And I got the Respect My Time shirts on the way. I just want to make the image much, much more detailed for those that like it, and just to make sure that, you know, it's 100% perfect. But a couple other designs and whatnot on the way. But yeah, man, that's it, man. Have a great night, guys. Please be safe. Enjoy yourself with your family and your loved ones. Enjoy gaming if you're gaming tonight. And listen, man, I'm out of here, man. Y'all be safe.